There are two grammatical voices, active and passive. They express the relation of the subject of the sentence to the action. With active voice verbs, for example, the subject is always the performer of the action. Take the sentence, he threw the pie. The subject he performs the action expressed by the active voice verb threw. But with passive voice verbs, the relation of the subject to the action changes. The subject isn't the doer anymore. Instead, it's passively affected by the action, as with, the pie was thrown by him. All passive voice constructions use state of being verbs, that is, some form of the verb to be. In these sentences, you can see the state of being verbs was and are. One side note here, most of the time you'll want to use active voice verbs when writing or talking because the action of the verb is more direct and vivid in its active form. When one talks about active and passive voice verbs, one talks about verbs and their subjects. But what about verbs and their objects, you say? Well, I thought you'd never ask, because I've just been dying to say a few words about transitive and intransitive verbs. A transitive verb is simply a verb that takes an object, such as lay, in chickens lay eggs, eggs being the object. One might say that a transitive verb transfers action from subject to object. But an intransitive verb doesn't transfer action because it doesn't have an object to transfer the action to. So the verb lies in the chicken lies in the nest is intransitive because, well, the chicken's just lying there after all. And that's all there is to be said about transitive and intransitive verbs. They're really quite simple. Now, before I transitively lay my hands on a drumstick, let's go back and review some of the things I've been talking about. Remember, verbs are action words. They express all the things a noun or pronoun can do. Verbs also express states of being. But verbs do more than express simple action and states of being. They express action in terms of time, past, present, and future through the use of 6 major tenses: the present, the past, the future, the present perfect, the past perfect, and the future perfect. All the major tenses come from 3 basic verb forms called principal parts: the present, the imperfect, and the past participle. We also learned that verbs express subtle differences in terms of mood. They indicate whether an action should be regarded as a straightforward fact, as a wish, as something that might happen, or as a command. Verbs also can be active, passive, transitive, or intransitive. And now I think I'll sit down to a nice, quiet... Oh my, what's this? I think this is where I came in. And so I guess it's where I'll leave too. Cheerio, carry on.